This is Story Skeptic, and these are my weekly thoughts. My thoughts today is on story, plot, and external and internal conflict, and what's the differences. That's because I feel both of them are a bit the same. At first sight, story and plot may seem to be the same thing, but it's really not. So the plot is just how what happens, what's next. It's just a sequence of events in a story, in a book, in a film. It's all the scenes, it's all the action. It's literally just what happens. But then all this plot becomes the story. Story, on the other hand, is how the plot affects the character. It's more about emotions, how it affects the bigger picture. So story and plot really works together. And a pretty common graph to see is the rising tension graph, where you can see it builds and builds and builds up and down until the third act on its peak, and then it resolves and drop downs again to the final act, and the story is kind of wrapped up. But often I've also seen it described as a roller coaster. You hear people saying that all the time when they get out of a good thriller or something like that. It was like a roller coaster, and that's a good thing. It means it's exciting, and but I like that visual of the roller coaster because I think it's a good analogy. It achieves quite a lot. People go onto it. You can see that as the audience or the characters themselves. We build up, and the scariest parts of a roller coaster are usually at the end. There's a big loop. Then it slows down and people come out either happy, sad, puking, or whatever. But the point is that the ride itself, the ups and downs, the loops, all the tracks, that's the plot. That's what the roller coaster are made out of. It's just the way it goes. So how the people react, the people inside the carts, how they feel before and after, that's kind of the story. That's why we care. And it could be a good ending. It could be a kid who loves the roller coaster, or it could be a kid who never wants to do that again. That would be a sad ending. Another thing is that it ends where it starts. Like a lot of stories really do. They're circular. It's all about not being able to do something in the world you know, and through the horrors of the roller coaster, you come back and you may be a bit more brave to fix the problems you had previously. Then we transition from story and plot to internal and external conflict. And that's often applied more to the characters in the story. It's also a lot more specific. It depends on a goal. So the external conflict, much like the plot, is just what physically happens, but it's more focused. It's more about what physically prevents the main characters from achieving what they want. And then we have the internal conflict, which is just the battle you have inside with yourself that might prevent you from doing what you want or getting what you want. So at the moment, I'm doing a master's in screenwriting. And in the class, we had a talk about this. I threw up 1917 as an example of a movie that's oriented around the external conflicts. But I was a bit surprised that several people in the class was disagreeing, and they meant the movie had a lot of story or kind of internal conflict. And I argued pretty heavily that it didn't. Like, the main character is really the same person when he begins the film and ends the film. When he gets on that roller coaster, he's just exhausted afterwards. It's not really changed. Yeah, he didn't really change his perspective in any way. He just completed the mission. Yeah. This is just my thoughts. Would love to hear yours in the comments section. And if you liked the video, I would really appreciate the like. Subscribe if you want more of this. That was my thoughts, and I'll see you in the next week's video, where I will be sharing a little trick I use to generate story ideas.